They do, if you really believe in them. So this is one of my most favorite stories, and it occupies several chapters in this book, is the story of Leela. It's actually Leela and Leela, as you will see how it connects. Leela as a Sanskrit word actually has a very playful meaning. It means play. Leela is a kind of fun activity. So let me start the story, and I don't have to analyze the philosophy a whole lot. It becomes apparent as the story goes on. And I'm going to start it chronologically at the beginning, even though Yogavasistha starts it in the middle and goes back and comes forward again. So original story is that there is a certain Brahmin whose name is also Vasistha, and that's a coincidence. It's not the same Vasistha. And he someday is sitting on the side of the road on some hillock, watches the king's procession going down the road, says, this looks beautiful. There are all kinds of paraphernalia following him, lot of festivities going on and so on. He says, that looks good. I want to be the king. He says, I like this life. And so he takes in his mind that he wants to be the king. He takes it so seriously. I mean, he is doing all his normal duties and so on, but his mind is completely determined. He wants to be the king. As he gets older, his wife has a different concern. His wife's name is Leela. And she's concerned that one of these days he's going to die and I'm going to be a widow and I'm going to be miserable. I don't want that. I want to be with him. I want to hang on to this nice life I have, and nice husband I have. So what can I do? She of course asks people, everybody tells her, death is inevitable. You can't do anything about it. So how about maybe praying to a god? So she prays to the goddess Saraswati. And prays and does some rituals. And Saraswati grants her a wish. She says, okay, if you want to be with your husband after his death, you will. And so this husband dies. As soon as he dies, his mind has created his future. He wants to be the king. So he becomes a king. And she, of course, is miserable, but she has this boon that she will be with him. So she dies before too long, and she becomes his queen, and they start leading a life. So far, so good. So this is happening so they die in their house, and their bodies are lying in state. All the people of the town come for mourning. They have kids. They are sad and whatnot. What happens to this king? His life starts. Where does it start? Somewhere. We'll explain where. And so he lives his life very fruitfully. He's prosperous. He has a beautiful queen, the same one. She's also named Leela. And he lives for some 60, 70 years. Again, as he gets older, this Leela has the same worry. That maybe he will die and I will be in trouble. I don't want to leave him. So she, being a queen, she invites all the famous philosophers and Brahmins and whoever is knowledgeable. What can I do? What can I do? Everybody has the same answer. We can't do a thing. When one dies, one dies. So she again thinks of worshipping Saraswati by coincidence, by her former habit. So worships her, but this time she asks something different. She doesn't ask that she would be with her husband when he dies. She asks that I want to hang on to his body when he dies. So he dies, the king dies. And that whole body, the corpse is brought into the bedroom. She says, I want it to survive. So Saraswati says, bring fresh flowers, put them on there. The flowers will wither every day, you replace them. He will be safe, so it won't decompose. She's fine, I'm with my husband, even though he's dead. After a couple of days, there's no fun anymore. She gets tired of it, so she starts talking to Saraswati. And she keeps on inviting her, asks her, what's going on? Why am I so miserable? Very easy. I mean, I see his body, but very easy. She says, well, he's a king again. He's decided to be the king. So he has started a new life cycle on his own as a king. So she says, can I see him? Yeah, sure. She says, so sit down here in a meditative pose and you can go see him. And so she goes and views that, yeah, he is surely a king. He has his own court and everything. Sees all his old courtiers in his new court also. Then she is shocked. Maybe all of them died. My husband died, I know. Did everybody in the court die? And so she comes back and invites the court, wants to make sure that they are here still in the ordinary world. Sure enough, they are there. They haven't died. So they are invited, and so she is happy. Then starts asking, how is this possible? Where is he? How come these courtiers are here and there? So Saraswati starts now telling her the true story. She says, these are parts of his imagination. So this world that he is living in is his creation. It's its chit which is forming it. Your chit is here. But then how come you didn't tell me all this? How come you just readily agreed to let me have him and his body? She said, well, because you had asked me the same question before. Since you had made the same request. And so Saraswati reports to her that this is what you had what you had done. And so she says, well, how long ago did they die? Oh, just a week ago. That body is still lying there and people are mourning it. She says, how come we lived here 70 years? Well, that's your dream. That's what you were living in. And so she says, no, I want to go see them. She says, okay, if you want to go see your old former life, I will arrange that. So you leave, but you can't take your body, she says. You leave your body here. I'll take you there. So they get in their spiritual form, and as like two goddesses, they travel through space. There is a rather fantastic description of their travel, which sounds very much like our current idea of how there are these star systems and there are planets floating around. So it describes they travel through these various levels, see different stars, see different planets. They even reach a kind of barrier of this universe and then come back down and so on. And, this guy had a real imagination, whoever wrote it. And so they finally land in this former place where the Leela's former life took place. And then they find, she finds her son there mourning and so on. And as a goddess, he doesn't recognize her as his mother. So as a goddess, she kind of blesses him and so on. Goes around the town and revisits her old place of life. Then the question is still, what's happening? So there is one king out there. So that's one level of his dream. What's happening in this space in the house? Well, so that one is also living another kingly life, and he is actually facing some hardship. He's in the middle of a war and he's about to lose that war. And so they are now this other Leela is available there because she is hanging around in that space. And so these two Leelas sort of come together with the goddess and they observe that war. There is a great big description of the war. And this king is actually killed in that war, physically killed now this time. And no Leela to protect him. And so then they ask, how come, He didn't do anything wrong ever. He worshipped you just as we did. And how did you let him die? How did you let him lose his battle? She says, well, the other guy, the other king named Sindhu, the one who was victorious, he also worshipped me, and his worship was stronger. His desire to rule was stronger. He says. So, some people were asking me earlier, what happens when you lose your desired goal? Well, that's because somebody else is stronger at the moment. All you have to do is persist in what you are doing. So this other guy, she says, he was more powerful because of his stronger conviction, his stronger desire. But they say, well, but what about us? I mean, why did you grant us this and that, and why are you, are not treating the two Leelas equally? The Saraswati says, and this is my most favorite conclusion from that story. She says, I don't give anybody anything. You ask of God that I want this, I want that. You are expressing your desire. If you believe in your desire and if you work for it, you get it out of your own will. Your own chit is creating the effect. It's giving you the fruits of your labor. What do? I only give you assurance. I direct your powers to wherever they deserve to go or they want to go. It says all gods, all they can do is direct. All they can do is say, we grant your wish. But the wish is yours. The desire is yours. The power is yours. In fact, many times you read these old mythological stories, there is some real bad person, usually a demon, who gets very powerful by performing long penances. And then some god, usually it's Brahma or Shiva maybe sometimes, they come along and grant him his wish. His wish is to destroy all the gods or destroy all the world or win over this or that. And the gods give it. You wonder, these wise, powerful gods, don't they realize what they are granting? The conclusion is, yes, they realize what they are granting. They have no choice. The power is earned by this person.